All right, good evening, Flyers fans, and welcome back to the season finale of the Clear the Ice program for the 24-25 Flyers season. The Flyers postgame here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network. Matty B, your boy on the call, joined by Mike Laro, joining with me. We're gonna take it out in style tonight, Mike. Final postgame show, not the final game of the season, and the way the Flyers are playing. Wouldn't it be just the way they make a playoff push and make the playoffs, and we decided to cut off Clear the Ice, 6-7 games early?
Yeah, that would be our luck. It really would. Like, hey, we're gonna cut it short. Baseball season started. Flyers ain't looking so well. All of a sudden, now they're gonna make a late season run. Typical Philly.
Now, with the win tonight, the Flyers did win 2-1 over the Predators. They are within, they're like 6 points out of the last wild card spot, but there's like 9 teams ahead of them. So I'm not saying that they're going to make the playoffs, but it is good that they're making it interesting down the way, and especially over these last 3 games under the tutelage of interim head coach Brad Shaw. Mike, it's a different team out there, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't know. Like I said, I've watched the last couple of games, and I'll tell you what, I see more jump in these guys' step. I don't know if rid of Tortorello, like they got the guy out of the room, so they're just playing carefree. But I see you're right. It is a different Flyers team. It was like it's kind of like they almost came together in spite of him. And now that he's gone, it's just like, okay, now we can play the type of hockey that we know we can play. That's kind of what I'm getting from this.
Oh, absolutely. I get the same vibe, and you could see a little bit more of a freer approach. It seems like players are out there taking more chances. I'm not saying they're not playing defense; they are, but it seems like they're more minded on the offensive thing, and the defensive mistakes they're there, and we're gonna highlight a couple of them tonight as Flyers even won. But there were it wasn't a complete game effort, but very good effort as they held on to a 2-1 victory tonight. Let's get into it, I guess, Mike. Let's start breaking some of this stuff down on the game tonight. The Flyers were outshot 29-18 by the Predators. Flyers were 0 for 1 on the power play, so was the Predators. So I guess it canceled each other out. Flyers have been scoring pretty effectively on the power play under Bradshaw. I believe they entered this game 3 for 7 on the power play, which is amazing. I'll take that. The Flyers blocked 21 shots tonight. A season-high 13 takeaways by the Flyers this season. The Flyers have not come nowhere near taking the puck away 13 times in a game all year long, and tonight was a season high by a long stretch. I believe the previous season high was like 8, and tonight they took the puck away 13 times. They still gave it up 19 times, which is about par for the course of what this season's been. But all in all, a pretty technically sound game for the Flyers. Again, kind of following through with what's been happening since the firing of John Tortorella. Tonight, the Flyers sat Nick Delorian, Ristolainen, Kovaslov, and the Flyer new prospect signed directly from the University of Michigan or from Michigan State right to the Flyers, undrafted free agent Carson Dorwart. He was also a healthy scratch tonight for the Flyers. In the net, Ivan Fedotov, Mike, got to go. He played pretty well. I am not an Ivan Fedotov guy. I don't think he's nothing more than a tweener, a fringe guy. And when he's on this level, the NHL level, he's nothing more to me than a backup.
Yeah, I think the Flyers have 3 backups. So, I mean, it is what it is with them right now. But you got to tip your cap. He made 28 of 29 saves tonight. And that, I mean, one was lucky. He almost gave up another one there in the third period on that pop fly that kind of landed right next to his skate. And I believe it was Drysdale or York, one of the two, got the puck out of there before they had a chance to ram it home. But, I mean, he had a really good game. I want to give him a little more time, though, because he did come with a very high what's the word I'm looking for? He came with a high billing, this guy. So I don't know if it's going to take him some time to, still kind of getting used to our game over here. Hopefully, he gets better. I'm seeing subtle improvements with him. He's not dropping down. He's not leaving his 5-hole open as much as he was doing earlier in the year. So, I mean, baby steps, I guess, for Big Ivan.
Yeah, he could also be the product of Tortorella being gone, because there was reports out there that Tortorella was not the biggest fan of Ivan Fedotov. Matter of fact, that is why Kovaslov is back on this team, is because Tortorella demanded that he be called back up because he couldn't stand playing Fedotov. The report is he even told Danny B, I'll just play Urson the rest of the season. We'll run him into the ground. I am not playing this guy. You better bring me Kovaslov back up. So the Flyers burned their last call up for Kovaslov. So there's some reports out there that obviously Fedotov wasn't Tortorella, or they weren't on the same page. So this could be another example of a player being kind of freed from the shackles that bound him under John Tortorella.
Yeah. And here's the thing. I thought Tortorella kind of earned his way. But then again, he turns around and he does the same stuff that he's done that's gotten him out of what was it, Vancouver? Or no, that's Vigneault. I'm sorry. He was out of Columbus. I mean, he
was in Vancouver too. He was in
Vancouver.
Too, yeah.
I mean, all the same stuff that this guy's done. This is the reason why I didn't want him here. Like, I did not agree. Like, I totally was against this. Me and Pat went back and forth. Actually, this is one thing that me and Pat actually agreed on, was the Flyers hiring this dude. I will say this: I seen a different side of Tortorella while he was here, but ultimately the same guy who I really didn't want as the Flyers head coach ultimately ended up coming back and showing himself. That's why he's been so many places. After a while, the team just tunes him out, and I think that's what the Flyers did.
Yeah, I do. I agree. And there's some other reports out there that Tortorella kind of lost faith in the process, kind of lost faith in what was happening. And, I did a little segment on my show last night, kind of exploring that theory. And I can understand why. The Flyers last season were in playoff contention up to the end. They were a solid 6th seed. And what happens at the trade deadline? They take away one of the foundations pieces of that team in Sean Walker. And, okay, then this year, they weren't solid anything, but they were in it. And then they just kind of clean house and get rid of everything. I can understand the frustration a little bit from Tortorella.
I can too, but I mean, they also got rid of 2 guys that was constantly in his doghouse too.
Yeah.
I mean, Farabee and Morgan Frost, they were taking turns.
Yeah.
Spending time in the doghouse from that. Like, I never thought they were going to be able to flourish under him.
No.
And to be honest with you, I really wish they were kind of still here and he was going, because the Flyers need scoring. Now, Farabee, I can understand him getting traded. I wouldn't have traded Morgan Frost. I didn't like the trade at all. I know it frees up money on their caps now, or off of their books, with them getting rid of them too. But still, I would have kept Frost. And for him, and basically all you got back was Peltier, because and whatever what did they get, like a 3rd round pick for Kuzmenko when they traded him?
Yeah, it was a 3rd round pick. Yeah.
Yeah. So they got a 3rd rounder in Peltier. Like, to me, I'm sorry, but Calgary won that deal right now.
Well, and that was another issue, is he didn't like Peltier. He didn't like Jacob Peltier. He said he wasn't going to play him. He said he was a fringer. He didn't like his skill set. He should be in the AHL. And I again, I don't know what the hell was going on behind the scenes, but it sounded like it was pretty tumultuous. But let's get back to this game. In there for the Predators, Justus Noonan. He's not from Delco, by the way, folks. If you thought maybe he was, but he's not. He was in net for the Panthers tonight, or Predators, sorry. 18 shots, 16 saves, and finished with a .889 save percentage. Fedotov, if you're wondering, for the Flyers, he faced 29 shots, made 28 saves, and finished with a stellar .966 save percentage. So, Mike, let's break some of this stuff down, shall we, Mike? Let's get into the game, all right?
Let's go for it.
But before we do, let me remind everybody that's watching, all the great programming you can see here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network is right now brought to you by the great programs that we offer. And, of course, earlier tonight, you might have caught me on the Fighting's Final as I took you through the Phillies home opener. Wednesday, Sal G will be your host, and then I will finish you up on Thursday on the final before we move on to the Dodgers series. So make sure you're tuned in to all the greatest and latest Phillies post games. And also, we have some new shows, and we have some shows on the network. Let's talk about my show. Typically can be seen Sundays through Thursdays, 10 p.m., but I am not going to do my show tonight because I've already been on the air enough. You don't need to see me all damn day. But typically Sunday through Thursdays at 10 p.m., The Final Word with Matty B. And starting on Thursday at 9 is the return of the Attacking Third. And then coming here to the network, Pat Bernard, Steve Fuentes, talking everything Union, everything MLS. And starting on Sundays at 9 a.m. till May 4th, I'm going to be very clear about that. Starting on Sunday at 9 a.m., running through May 4th on Sundays, Pat Bernard will be taking the reins of the wraparound as Sal continues to kind of work some things out. But we're going to keep the wraparound going, and we're going to put Sal in it, or not Sal, but Pat in it. And he'll be your host every Sunday morning at 9. And then on May 4th, Mike and Pat, PNM in the AM makes its return as well back on the It's a Rap Sports Network. Mike, you got a dog in this fight. How do you feel about relaunching the PNM and the AM show?
Well, I mean, for people who watched it when we were over at EOP, Al will definitely be a part of most of our shows. I affectionately call him the voice of God because usually when we did it from the old studio, Al would never put himself on camera. He would just, chime in or whatever. And so I called him the voice of God. So now, being able to do this now from home, getting to reunite with Pat, and we're going to be up to our old shenanigans again. We're probably going to be arguing left and right. But, I had a nice little 6-month breakup from him, and he did his own thing. I did mine. And so it's going to feel good. Come back, and we got a brand new audience to come here and annoy.
Absolutely. Yeah. Can't wait. All right. Let's get back into the game. Let's talk some score and summaries. Nothing in the first period. Teams were scoreless heading into the first intermission.
Couple posts in that first series.
Couple posts, yeah, and a couple missed breakaway opportunities. Michkov had a nice one. Was that in the first period, that breakaway that he
yeah, him and TK.
Yeah, that was TK one as well. Flyers were outshot in that period 8-7 the Flyers outshot the Predators 8-7. Now let's get into the scoring summary. Second period at the 8:50 mark, Ryan Poehling, his 11th from Travis Konechny and Michkov. This was a pretty goal. Mike, let's bring this up and let's break some of this stuff down here because I love breaking goals down. And let's take a look at this. So we're going to pick up play coming out of the coming out of the Flyer zone. Let's start the thing moving. Now the Flyers here are going to be benefactors of some bad sloppy defense because you already see we got an advantage here. We got two Nashville Predators pinned it back in their own zone, and then Nashville was apparently conducting a line change here, so there's going to be another break on it as well. But you got to kind of give the tip the cap here as Konechny and Michkov are going to weave their way into the neutral zone, into the Predator zone. You can see a Nashville player trying to get off the bench, so we have more odds, but nice little nifty stick movement here by Michkov. A little bit of a beautiful touch pass, and then I guess we can go tic-tac goal as Konechny will feed it back to Poehling, who puts it behind the goaltender for the goal. Pretty goal, Mike. Would you not consider that?
Yes, and the thing that makes this whole thing, if you really go back, if you rewind it just a tad bit,
absolutely,
you will see Michkov, the way he dekes that puck in before he sends it over to Konechny. Right there, he just dekes it in, and he's got a clear lane. There's a clear lane right there, and now this defender's stuck, between Poehling and Konechny, and all he does is give a nice little sauce pass over the stick, and he's been on fire lately, man. What's that? His sixth goal in the last 6 games or something like that.
Yeah,
that he scored. That. So he, he's on a little bit of a hot streak himself, but Michkov, the way this kid is able to maneuver that puck and set people up, it's not even his goal scoring. We're talking about his distribution. It's just, to me, he looks far beyond his years, the way he's able to do that.
And I guess I can ask this question too: is Michkov feeling a little bit more freer now that potentially the big bad wolf is gone?
Most definitely. You got to think the Rook's probably thank God they got this dude out of here. You know what I mean? Because he was probably going what do I got? Because he was another one. As soon as Frost and Farabee got traded, all of a sudden he became the new whipping boy. You know what I mean? So, again, that's Tortorella in a nutshell, though.
It is. The Flyers would hold that lead to about the 13-14 mark of the period when the Predators would strike back. Zachary Hendriux, his 5th from McCarron and Sajiki. Man,
yeah, that's a hell of a name. I got it written down here, and I was like, I'm not even going to try to butcher this guy's name.
These guys are not from Mayfair. It would tie the score at 1-1 again, 13-14. Let's pull it up. This goal was a little concerning. This had 24-25 Flyer goal written all over it because Just didn't like it. A lot of breakdowns. But here we go. We're going to pick play up, Mike, in the neutral zone. There's going to be a little bit of a puck battle. The Flyers do a kind of a good job. They get the giveaway here, the takeaway, whatever. Flyers are going to control the puck for a second or two, and then it's going to kind of pop itself back out into neutral zone, deep into neutral zone, into the Predators' end. As you can see, they're going to pass it back in. The Flyers then attempt a line change of their own here, which was ill-advised because it was a slow-developing, miscommunicated line change. Stop it right here. Just Travis Sanheim over here kind of like, well, what am I doing? Are we changing? Are we not changing? I don't know what's going on here. And that you cannot be caught standing around on NHL ice during an NHL game and expect good things to happen. So things are slow developing on the Flyer line change. The Predators are then going to just pop it back in the zone. They're going to have numbers. Then I want to stop it here because I want to segregate this young man, Emil Andre, who is definitely one of those Flyer young hopeful defenders that everyone's expecting to take a jump. The Flyer defensive core regressed on all cylinders and all fronts this year. Andre is looked at as the future. He's had a struggle up and down all year. When given the opportunities, he hasn't really played well, and he kind of really just kind of, I don't know what he does here. He doesn't do a good job here at all. He gives angles, he gives ground. He lets himself get bullied as the puck will be carried right to the net as he's behind the play. And this is just a bum rush. I really don't blame Fedotov here. Bad defense all around. Again, we can't clear the puck. Andre's just standing there, and the Predators are going to tie up the game 1-1.
Yeah, Andre, look, he was flat-footed there. If you go back and take a look at it, he was definitely flat-footed as they approached the zone. As they approach, you'll see he's skating right there. But once the puck really comes to him, look, he stops skating. Yep. You know, he's flat-footed, and you got a guy coming in. You can't be flat-footed like that. And again, you're right, wrong angles. But again, he's young. He'll learn from this. What I didn't like here is you take a look. That is Forrester. I'm sorry, but you got to have your head looking. He's looking at the wrong guy. Forrester's looking at the guy who's leaving the crease area and not looking back to the center to see who's coming in. And your job as a forward on that, your defensemen are there to pick up the guys that are there. Look at the guy who's coming in. If Forrester turns around, all he's got to do is poke check it, and then we're talking about a shutout here. Yep. You know what I mean? So there was gaps in there. I see where your blame is going with Andre there. I think he can learn from that and not be so flat-footed. But Tyson Forrester, you got to turn around there. You know, you got to drop yourself back. If you're going to be that low, you got to play defense. And he looked like he was confused. He didn't look like whether he should continue following the guy and he didn't turn around to see the guy that was standing right behind him, literally right there in front of the goalie. I mean, if he was any closer, he would have been in this crease.
And also the slow line change, the miscommunication at the bench, I think really kind of led to that play developing into what it was. You got to be better with that. And I don't know if we're going to blame Brad Shaw and the new system. They said there was no new system, that they're just kind of still doing things the old way. But you got Travis Sanheim sort of waving his stick out there like, what am I doing? Am I changing? Am I staying? You just can't have that.
Yeah, you can't. But
all right. No, go ahead, Mike.
But, happy days are here again, buddy, because just about 30 seconds later, our boy Jamie Drysdale puts one in the net to give the Flyers a 2-1 lead. And it's that familiar tandem again, Mitchkov and Travis Konechny on the assist at the 13:48 mark. So literally about 30 seconds after the Predators tie the game up, the Flyers go right back down the ice and take it. If you see here, I believe that's Drysdale that's got the puck right now in motion.
So Drysdale is actually off to the side here. The Flyers get lucky a little bit on this play, but let's run it, Mike. You break it down.
All right, you see right here, you got Mitchkov running. Okay, and he's going to dish the puck over right here.
That's Drysdale.
That's Drysdale right there. And he just takes the shot. And then I thought right there, as he was coming in, as Mitchkov was coming in, I thought he was going to score. I really did. And then all of a sudden, there's Drysdale right there to clean it up. I thought Mitchkov had him. I really did, because I was like, oh, he's got it. And then all of a sudden, you just seen it kind of squirted out right here. I thought he had him.
Yeah.
Thought he had him, and then it literally bounces right to Jamie Drysdale, and he's able to put it past the goaltender.
This was a lucky goal. Lucky in a lot of different ways. The Predators failed to clear twice. There's once, and then there's going to be twice coming up again. So, yeah, but you got to take them. You take them. If this was happening to the Flyers, I'd be all up in arms about bad defense. You take them. You take the opportunities when you can, and that would make the score 2-1. Let's talk about the shots total in that second period. Flyers were dreadfully outshot, 16-5, Mike, in the second period by the Nashville Predators. But the Flyers.
I've been saying this really since I've been back on here doing Clear the Ice. Second period for the Flyers this year has been horrible, absolutely horrible. They get outshot. They usually get outscored. It's like they're worse. It's like they're good for 2 periods. Like when they're going the other way for 2 periods, they're good. But it's like whenever they got to do that long bench, something seems to happen.
Absolutely. The score would be 2-1 going into the second intermission. In the third period, the Flyers would pin their ears back and hold the hell on. No goals scored in that period, and the Flyers would hold on for the 2-1 win. They would be outshot in that period 6-5 from Nashville. This was a pretty defensive neutral zone battle. Flyers win the season series as they took both from the Predators this year, and as I said, find themselves sitting 6 points out of the final playoff spot in the East with about 15 teams ahead of them, but you got to take it way you can get it. Mike, I want to talk a little bit about Brad Shaw and his 3 games as our coach. So far through 3 games, the Flyers have scored 15 goals. They're averaging 5 goals a game for their new head coach. They've given up 9 for 3 goals a game. They've registered 80 shots. They've given up 80 shots. They've taken the puck away 21 times for 7 a game, and they've given it up 55 for 18.3, which that's been a problem all season. And they blocked 53 shots for 17.6 on the season through 3 games with Brad Shaw. So obviously the goals are up. They're scoring a lot more than they've been pretty much all season long. I mean, they were averaging less than 3 a game under John Tortorella. The offense was pretty stale, and it was pretty systematic. And I think Tortorella was more concerned about players doing what he specifically told them to do versus creating offense. And for whatever reason, if it's teaching them how to be pros, teaching them how to win, whatever his philosophy was around it, it looks like Brad Shaw's cut the cord and said, just go play, go do what you do the best.
Right. That's what I'm thinking. Like, it looks like the Flyers don't have any pressure on them, if I could say that. I mean, even though they're playing free, and it's starting to show. Now, again, they've been a team that's been giving the puck away a ton this year. And also, too, like, they will have defensive lapses where other teams will sit there and go at them. They ran into a Predators team tonight, which, if we can be honest and say this, they're probably worse than the Flyers 5-on-5. They really are. 5-on-5, they got great specialty teams, but when they're 5-on-5, they're horrible. And I think the Flyers took advantage of that tonight, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it was a good win. Good win against some bottom-feeding competition. On the last 3 games was Montreal, Buffalo, and Nashville. But you know what? You got to win those games. You can only win the games that are in front of you. Mike, let's check out some of those comments. People are chiming in. Let's bring up some. Joe Hale checking in. Hey, Joe.
My buddy Joe Hale checking in. Says, "Hey guys, how you doing, Joe?" He says, "I thought the Flyers were tanking. So did we. Mr. Positivity, Mike Papernick Jr. checking in, says, good win. I feel bad for Mike. He's up in Buffalo country. He's up in Sabres country.
Oh, no.
Yeah, he's up in upstate New York. I think he's a little more eastern side, though. Joe Hale saying Jamie Drysdale's finding his fountain of youth.
Jamie Drysdale's an enigma, Mike. The Flyers are going to have to make a lot of decisions in the offseason when it comes specifically to the defense. And I know that Risto's contract, they would probably kill to get rid of it, but he's actually was playing the best out of all the defenders prior to him getting hurt. So I don't even know if you move off of him at this point. But they're going to have to make some decisions, I think, about Drysdale. They're going to make some decisions about Cam York. They're going to have to make some decisions about potentially Igor Zamula. There's got to if you're asking me, and I know it doesn't sound right in terms of what we've seen on the ice this year, but I'm looking for the most changes to happen in the defensive side because I'm just not sold on this group right now. And I think they're dragging down the rest of the team. Yeah, the goaltending has not been that good, and the offense obviously is what it is, but our defense stinks. Let's face it.
I agree with you 1,000%. The defense has been very bad this year, and they've contributed to a lot of losses this year. Like there was games Sam Harrison was playing on his head. There's nothing the guy could do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the defense was just allowing them to come in, and it's very frustrating watching it. But I mean, if I'm keeping two, and everybody else is trade bait. You keep Travis Sanheim, and I like Drysdale. I think you keep him. Everybody else is tradable. I think Cam York wants out of here. I mean, why else would he have done what he done? And the dude doesn't. He was a little fickle for me anyway. When they drafted him, the way he acted when the Flyers drafted him. So I don't think this dude ever really wanted to be here. Now I may be wrong about that. It was just, I guess, me reading his body language. He doesn't seem like he wants to be a Flyer. So make his dream come true. Get him out of here.
And I always think back to draft night. Cole Caulfield was sitting right there, and we didn't take him. We took Cam York, and Caulfield's up to 35 goals this year for the Montreal Canadiens. I mean, just
listen. That's
you wonder, man.
Listen, that's been the Flyers' history, right? I mean, we got a chance to get Jaromir Jagr, and we took Mike Ricci. Remember that? I mean, come on. And that dude ended up being a part of the Eric Lindros trade.
Yep. All right. So I agree.
Joe Hale saying Mitchkov looks good.
Making a push for the Calder Trophy. Absolutely.
He said, "Is it me, or is Travis Konecny scared to shoot?" No, I don't think he's scared to shoot, man. I think he's just been setting people up, man. He's been taking his shots. Yeah, a nice breakaway chance tonight.
I mean, just recently, like within the last 10 games, they decided to pair Mitchkov and Konecny together and not move them around. That was the pair. So they're learning chemistry between each other. I think this is actually going to unlock Konecny going forward into next season if they stick with this and provide them an actual number one center. If they can give the Konecny Mitchkov line an actual number one center next year, you might have something going there. You may have something cooking with that.
Yeah, I listen. If you've been hearing me talk, when I do these Flyers post games, I do to clear the ice. I've been saying it. The Flyers are legitimately a center away. They need some offensive centermen. Listen. If they were to get rid of Sean Couturier, bye.
No one's taking that contract though. That's the problem. No one's taking that money up for him.
Hey, listen. If I'm the Flyers, you're going to be in cap hell anyway. Take a year of the contract. Say, all right, yeah, we'll take this year's we'll take his salary for this year, and then go.
Yeah, if they can move off of that, I would definitely go for it as well. So, all
right. You ready to go around the league there, Matty?
You want? I'll take you guys around the league. Let's go around the National Hockey League on this Monday night. Only a few games in action. Flyers, of course, 2-1 winners. The Devils were also 3-2 winners in the shootout over the Wild. Rest of these games are ongoing. It is 2-0 Colorado over Calgary with about 6 minutes to go in the second period. And out there in Seattle, the Stars and Kraken will get underway about now. So
let me ask you, I got you on.
Yeah.
Who is your choice coming out of the West?
Oh, to go to the finals?
Yes.
I say it every year. I say Dallas every year because they're just sneaky good, and they just lay in the weeds, and they're just there. And and actually, to me, I think the West is a little weaker this year than it was last year. So yeah, I'm going to go Dallas out of the West, and I'm going to go Dallas, Carolina final.
Dallas, Carolina. I actually agree with you with the Dallas coming out, but I'm going to go with a little different route than you. I'm going to say I'm going to go with Dallas and those Washington Capitals. I think Ovi goes to the Cup final.
I don't know if they have enough. I don't know if Washington has enough tread on the tires to get through a Cup final, man. I don't know, man.
I don't listen. Something tells me he's going to get there. If you look at all the stars in this league, what's the one thing that everybody's been hoping that he does? That he breaks Wayne Gretzky's, he breaks his, his goals or whatever. Once he breaks that, it's destined for him to get to the Cup. I don't think they'll win the Cup, but I think they'll get there.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting Stanley Cup run once again without the Flyers in it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be, and I have a hard time though. I ain't gonna lie, I have a hard time staying connected to the finals or to the playoff runs when the Flyers are not there because it lacks something for me. I don't know.
Listen, I love hockey so much. Like I will tell you right now, there is no better best of 7 series. Like, I don't care about the NBA. The NBA does not hold a candle to the NHL. The NHL playoffs, like, even when the Flyers weren't making it, me and my buddies would get together and we would sit there and say, all right, who's the team that we're going to root for just to see how far they make it? I remember one year we rooted for an AFC. I think we rooted for like Edmonton when they were like an AFC one year, and we started rooting for them, and they had like a bunch of nobodies on their team. So I think Jason Smith was like their captain.
Oh, geez.
So I mean, like, to me, but I love watching. I think it's the most intense.
Yeah.
It doesn't. But by the time you hit the third game, both teams hate each other. And so you got 4 games. If it goes 7, you got 4 games of hate left. To me, I think there's nothing better.
And the division rivals, they enter the series hating each other. So you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
Joe checking in says Vegas looks good in the West. I wouldn't sell them short either. I wouldn't sell Colorado short either. Colorado is always that team that, like, just whenever you try to count them out, all of a sudden they go on a magical run too.
Yeah.
So, but that's basically I like they're my two. I'm going to go Capitals and the Stars.
And we'll have an opportunity, Mike, to come back together probably around late June, probably right after the finals. We're going to sit down, do a Flyers season in review show, and we'll talk some draft, we'll talk some free agency, we'll talk some Flyers targets. Flyers are actually in a very pivotal summer. We got some cap, we got some draft picks, we got 12 in this year's draft, 7 in the first 2 rounds. There's an opportunity to make some noise, and I think the Flyers. Obviously, they need a head coach, need a goalie. There's a lot of storylines to run down about this hockey team into the offseason, into next year. So we'll be back in the summer to recap everything, get you ready for the draft, and then get you ready for the upcoming season. But it's adios for Clear the Ice until then, because we're going to focus in on the Phillies. It's not that it hurts me to have to say that I'm going to cut the cord on the Flyers with about 6 or 7 games left, because I don't want to do that, but I just felt that it's time to focus our attentions elsewhere. And we long for the day here on Clear the Ice for a playoff run. We long for the playoffs. We long for a meaningful April of hockey, and then into May and June. It's going to be a great time and a great opportunity and a great place to be here watching Clear the Ice when that happens. But
I can't wait for that. I can't wait for that day. It's been a while. It's been a while. 5
years and counting now. Flyers cannot go 6 without making the playoffs. I don't think they've ever done that in their history of their franchise. 6 years without making the playoffs. And that would happen next year if they do not make the playoffs. So we'll see. So, Mike, you came in at the end of season 3, but you did great. I think you finished with a 3-6-2 mark or something around that line. I finished 11 games over 500, and Sal was 12 games under. So, it kind of balances out.
But this is my 3rd consecutive year doing this. With the first 2 over at EOP, and then coming over here late with you guys. Thanks again, man, for letting me be a part of this team. I have, there's not too many people that really talk puck, with you actually reffing games, and, the way myself and Sal and even Al watch Flyers games, and now you got Pat coming over. Pat's a hockey knucklehead too. So, it's only going to get bigger and better.
Bigger things are definitely in store for Clear the Ice for season 4. And we're going to take some time to retool it, regroup it, rework it, and then come back next season bigger, better, and faster and stronger. And hopefully the Flyers are doing the same thing as they come back next year with those same things. So, from all of us over here at Clear the Ice. By the way, Mike, tell the folks out there where they can find you before I send them on.
You can find me on certain Fighting's finals for right now until May the 4th. May the 4th, I will be joining my 2 old comrades of Al Safiri and Pat Bernard. That's right. The return of P&M in the AM exclusively right here on It's a Wrap Sports. So your Sunday mornings will never be the same. So get your cup of coffee and try not to spit it out like I do. Pat's got a rule. I've already had to make a mention of it to him in our pre-meeting the other morning. So I said, hey, coffee. So make sure you guys get it ready. Have your breakfast and let us entertain you for a good hour or 2.
And, of course, you can find me all over It's Wrap Sports Network, Fighting's Final Word, and things that are all the stuff that's going on around here. And we're growing by the minute. We're growing by the day, so it's great. So from all of us here at Clear the Ice, to all of you out there, have a great enjoy the rest of the ride of the Flyer season. Win, lose, or draw, just enjoy hockey for the rest of the time, because unfortunately it's fleeting, and without playoffs, it's really fleeting. But we'll be back next year, renewed, ready to go, and I think the Flyers will be too. So until we talk again sometime in the summer, in the immortal words of the late great Gene Hart, good night and good hockey.